It's unlawful under federal law to take pets to places that only allow service dogs. This man was trying to pass this dog off as service dog. Dogs like these can undo a service dog's training and can set them back. If this dog jumps on the food like this, he can contaminate the food. As you can see, the handler has zero intentions of correcting or controlling his dog. Look at the fear on his face.
No, you heard me wrong. This is a disservice dog.
What's the dog doing?
His tasks are to jump, bark, and be potentially harmful to the safety of others. If someone isn't at least mildly annoyed, he hasn't done his job. And in case you're going to be nosy and try to ask what I need him for, I'll spare you the awkwardness. I was told I qualified to register and could get real paperwork for him in a totally legit harness because of my dyslexia. Yeah. I can't read a room. Maybe if I could, I'd realize just how harmful my decision to bring an unlawful animal into a store is, and how much stress my actions put on service dog handlers. But I can't, so here we are. Not exactly a good boy, but I sure am top dog. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to do my shopping. And don't even think of complaining to the manager, because I'll sue you for discrimination. Or worse, cancel you on Twitter. Hey Girl Scout, what's shakin'? How have you been? I personally have been not too bad, spending a lot of time with my cat Ridley, who demands endless belly rubs and screams to hear the sound of her own voice. But despite her flaws, mainly the one about how the back of her neck resembles a sweaty bald man who is both big-boned and big-bellied, she has been an amazing thing for my mental health, and I would do anything for her for being such a great emotional support. Except bring her to non-pet friendly Walmart and let her wreak havoc because she's never been leash trained or socialized with dogs before. I mean, you think that would be a no-brainer, but if you've seen my last fake service animal video, you know a lot of people think their precious babies are above the rules set out to protect the medical aids that are service dogs. A lot of you have been asking for a second video on the topic, and unfortunately, there's enough content out there that we can make another video. Yes, it's time to educate the masses and call out the Karens whose disproportionate pride for their floor-pissing Pomeranian takes precedence over protecting the people. Let's just jump right into things.
People will be like, I have a service animal, I have the papers for it, I have this and that, blah, 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 blah.
So I have an answer for this, right? I have a service dog. His name's Bosley. And there are 2 questions by law that you are allowed to ask. These are federal rules by the ADA. First one is that dog a service dog due to a disability? That is a yes or no question. If they say no, then obviously, bye-bye, they're gone. Now, if they say yes, and you're still a little bit unsure, this is the second question that you can ask. Okay, so the second question that you can ask is that dog trained for a specific task? In my case, he's a medical alert dog. Anybody who tries to say papers, anything like that, out they go, because those are fake. There's no registration. It's all just a big scam, right? So, you got that. Okay, so here's a bonus. So, let's say the handler and everything, they answer the questions correctly. So far, so good. But, later on, you find out the same handler is not controlling their dog. It's lunging, it's peeing on the floor, it's terrorizing the clothes, whatever it is. You, by law, are allowed to walk up to them and tell them, I'm sorry, you need to leave with the dog immediately. You can come back at a later date, and it has to be without the dog. Anybody that kicks up a fuss, screams lawyers, and yada, yada, so on and so forth, well, this is what happens. They go into a lawyer's office and they look at what happened and they basically laugh him out the door while charging him a consultation fee.
So like last time, I thought we could actually start with some education before the roasting, so that those who maybe aren't aware of the rules have a bit of info. Like she says, service dogs don't have special papers, no special vests, they're simply dogs trained to a specific task. They can be trained for things like guiding a visually impaired person safely, bringing someone medical supplies, alerting their handler to health changes such as blood sugar drops, and protecting the handler by getting under their head during a seizure or creating a barrier between them and others. They can be used for mental health purposes, but they must have a trained task to perform to be considered a service dog, such as deep pressure therapy during a panic attack or giving someone an info card to properly help out if it happens in public. Their presence providing comfort to you does not count. Service dogs have protected rights, meaning they're allowed anywhere the handler is, and establishments cannot refuse service to them even if they're not pet friendly. Emotional support animals are not protected and are not allowed these same allowances. Contrary to popular belief, they can be any breed, big or small, so don't write off a Chihuahua or a Yorkie simply for their size. They can either walk or be carried, but they have to adhere to health and safety codes, meaning no carts or scooters, no chair at the table, and no swimming in the public pool. And like the woman in the TikTok said, if a service dog is misbehaving, the establishment can kick them out. The two questions she mentioned, is your dog a service dog, and what task does it perform, are not illegal to ask. But asking what the medical condition the person has, however, is not okay. If a person lies about their dog being a service dog, they are liable to fines and possible jail time depending on the location. So it's not just annoying or dangerous to service dogs. It can come with legal repercussions. And just because staff don't call you out for bringing your dog into a non-pet friendly establishment doesn't mean you're off the hook. If anything, someone can fill out a report about the establishment and you and get both of you in trouble. I think that's most of it, but I'll pin a comment at the top of this video so that any handlers who have something to add have a thread to share info with other Girl Scouts to help educate. So be sure to check the comments if you want to learn more. And now, armed with knowledge, we begin the roasting of the cringe. Oops, made a gross safety hazard of a mess in a store where dogs aren't meant to be. It's okay though. He's a service dog, so he's obviously off the hook, and you saying something to me makes you an ableist. Oh no, I can't pick up my dog's accident even though I was just wiggling around on the floor a few minutes ago and you know I physically can. I'm disabled. You can't ask me what's wrong either by law, remember? I could get you fired. You have to do it, even though it wasn't part of your job description to handle animals. Don't you know you can't discriminate against me, and if you refuse I can get the cops involved or something? Yeah, you gotta get it. Ooh, missed a spot. Yay, service dogs. Yeah, claiming that's a service dog is a load of crap. While you're laughing at your poorly behaved dog's shit show, everyone else thinks you absolutely stink for letting a clearly untrained dog off leash in a store like that. It's just a pooey thing to do. A service dog is supposed to be your number one and stay flush with your body, not run amok and go number two on the floor. While service dogs make mistakes and one accident isn't immediately a sign of faking, that awful behavior shows a dog that is not trained. Probably because you figured calling them a service dog exempted you from bothering to keep your pet in check, even though they actually require more training. I'm gonna take the plunge here and guess that you didn't realize posting these types of videos can get you in a lot of trouble. Maybe your brain clogged, but hopefully you realize the awful misrepresentation of service dogs and handlers is gonna make people think poorly of those who genuinely need their dogs and have spent hours upon hours training them. And to think handlers like the person calling this faker out get their validity questioned based on the breed of their dog, when those with a more common breed get away with this shit. Man, I was on a roll with those toilet puns, but I'm all wiped out, so I guess that means we move on, right?
Countered a fake at the Kava bar today. Had to tell her to move the dog twice cause it got a foot behind Titan and was barking. The second time I had to say, can you move your dog? There is a service dog training over here, and that's very distracting. 3 minutes later, she said mine is training to be a service dog too. She let the dog bark for 15 minutes while she was on the phone. Meanwhile, Titan handled it like an absolute champ.
Sugar boy. Fantastic Beasts. Yeah. The guy that's in that.
Yeah, mine is in training too. We actually just started right when you asked me to leave. So now I magically have the right to stay here. And like, hello, they sell cocktails at the bar, so why wouldn't a pet be allowed? My dog is just barking because she's trained to drown out the sounds of logic so I can keep living in my blissful self-centered world.
Entitlement. Task.
No, Patrick.
Entitlement.
It is not a
task. Dropping turds.
It is not a
task.
either.
The entitlement of some people makes my head spin. I VOD can't believe the nerve of some people, thinking their dog is so intoxicating that everyone would be happy to see them. While a lot of people, myself included, do love dogs, some people will want to kill ya if you get too close to them with your pet in a place that they weren't expecting. Allergies, fears, and distracting a working dog are all valid reasons, but no one needs to give you a reason to ask for you to give them space, and it's not whining to ask you to back off. I mean, some people only like their martinis dirty, so to them, your dog jumping onto their white trousers isn't as cute as you think it is. It's hard to swallow, but you're not above the law, no matter how adorable your pet is. And no one is going to think your dog is cute after it lunges at someone's service animal and forces them to retire, leaving the person without their independence, without their loving pet, and with thousands of dollars and hours now sunk into an animal that should have been able to work for much longer than anticipated. Barman's recommendation? It's worth a shot to try a dog park or the pet store if you're keen on bringing your barking boy out, and only go to non-pet establishments when you be gin to leave yours at home. I guarantee that'll go down a lot smoother than shaking up a poor handler and stirring up trouble. Okay, Girl Scout, if I think of any more booze puns, I'll call you, but don't get your hopes up. That was champagneful. No, officer. You don't have to arrest me for impersonating a law official. I'm in training. See this outfit from Spirit Halloween? I put it on so people would know I was a cop. It came with a badge and everything, so people know I'm the real deal. It doesn't matter that I don't know the law at all and I'm continually screwing up. Obviously, that TikTok of that cop from Retro Phantom's last video is every cop. So even though the laws are different than what she's doing, I can use that video example to generalize every single cop, and then continue to spread that generalization by not following the law while wearing an outfit to get people to believe I'm a cop and believe that generalization even more. Plus, then I get to use my lights and go like 190 down the 401 when traffic hits. Oh, and make people clean up after me when I shit in the middle of the aisle at Home Depot. I think. Again, I don't know the laws. I'm in training, remember? Yeah, these vests are costumes. Service dogs don't need vests at all. But because of the absurd amount of people that try and pet and distract other people's dogs without permission, a lot of handlers used marked vests to make it clear to people not to touch. It's a hard situation, because this enforces the false idea that harnesses make the dog official regardless of their behavior, but without them, people can be very boundary crossing. I mean, even with them, people are, but because so many people so firmly believe that harnesses make the service dog, it feels like a necessity to stop those uneducated people from feeling entitled to touching your pet even if you say no. Can't believe someone's first reaction would be to question your dog's validity and ignore you when you say they're working and can't be pet, but some people's pride makes them unable to handle even the most valid forms of rejection, and no is not a word they react nicely to. What do you guys think? Should companies be banned from selling these fake harnesses that encourage lawbreaking? Or should there be a special harness that requires registering a service dog for? Or do we round up all the boundary-breaking dog petters and have a bunch of people in dog costumes pet them while arguing with their loved one until the uncomfortable nature of it all teaches them empathy? I'm with the third one. And no, I'm not a monster. We reward good behavior with treats of charcuterie and sparkling rosé if they learn to ask permission. I know how to take care of a Karen. Speaking of Karen, I may have found the most infuriating, ableist, entitled Karen ever, keeping with the service dog topic too. Yeah, all those buzzwords fill up the spot where her soul would be if she had one. While she doesn't fake a service dog per se, the lack of service dog law enforcement is enabling her to do what she wants without consequence. Because, of course, people like this gal only care when it affects them.
Ditch
On
upcoming.
this comment, hilarious. Come on, George, let's go to Target.
So I don't usually do this type of content, but this really frustrates me and it affects the service dog community as a whole. I don't get to fake blindness. I don't get to be able to just walk out of the house with no worries in the world. I face problems all the time, and ableism. And that is your internal ableism. You are faking a service dog. Even if you're bringing that dog into a shop with no vest on, you're faking a service dog. And that is an issue for our community because some of these dogs are aggressive. And whether or not it's aggressive or not, your dog does not meet the standards hygienically or nothing. Please leave your pet at home. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Karen here. While everything you're saying might be legally and morally correct or whatever, you have to give me a break. I clearly saw the target symbol with the white dog and assumed that, just like everything else in life, it was obviously all about me and my precious princess dog. I mean, my dog has TikTok fans, so obviously that means she's a celebrity who's above the law. And Target should be thankful for the publicity that my dog gives their little known store. And no offense, none, no offense at all, but if you're visually impaired, you can't even see the dog in the cart at Target. So why do you care? I mean, yeah, you can hear the dog growling and barking and feel your service dog getting distracted and smell the piss from her little whittle accident she had, but some people would be honored to experience that, so consider yourself lucky. And honestly, I would consider yourself lucky that you don't get hassled by a stranger for simply wanting to shop at Target, because you're obviously mad at me for doing me, nothing else. But whatever, haters gonna hate. I'm not saying this Karen needs to touch grass, but I am saying that her whole account is dedicated to her overly personified dog. And this dog is the equivalent of those spoiled rotten little kids you see at the grocery store called Braxton and Truck or whatever. You know, the ones that those self-proclaimed enabling boy moms allow to tear up the aisles and scream because it's what boys do. Isn't it cute not to discipline your babies? No, it's not.
No dogs allowed. She's just pretending she's not a dog. She's sitting here at a hotel.
As you can see, she even brags about bringing her dog to no dogs allowed places, saying her baby is a member of the family so she will not be subject to the rules made for everyone else's lowly, stinky dogs.
Wow, hey, stinky boop!
As if people who don't bring their dogs on their 30-minute grocery run because it's the law are monsters who don't see their pets as family. Yes, she refers to herself as mommy in case it wasn't obvious. Ironically, she got upset when someone commented something similar to her.
So this person, who's not even TikTok friends with us or a follower, wrote this comment right there. I'm pretty insulted. I'm not going to be mean or say anything or clap back other than my mom bought us a Disney cruise for Christmas and our whole family went to make beautiful memories. And our dog stayed at home, in her surroundings, with people who loved her and took care of her and were here all day long. She's a happy girl and I wasn't going to miss out on family memories. I knew she was in good hands. But we usually take her on vacation with us. And if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, because this little girl is very well loved.
Hypocrisy, see what I mean? She can't take criticism, and God does she get it. But she's allowed to tell people off who are just trying to enforce the law for their own safety. Going through the comments, it's shocking to see people defending this petty, vile woman. Albeit the ones supporting her are usually other dog owners that also break the rules. She's purposely parading her dog around in the cart in places she shouldn't because she likes to piss off service dog handlers. And she encourages others to do the same. She thinks it's funny. She doesn't realize the consequences of these actions and what could happen if her dog does distract a service dog handler. But don't you see? It's okay because her baby girl won't distract any service dogs. She's so well behaved, quiet, not aggressive.
She literally licked my plate clean.
Yeah, the haters saying crazy outlandish things such as it's dangerous to service dogs are the Karens. Nah, actually, the supporters cracked the case. Obviously, we're all just jealous that the dog is prettier and cleaner than us. Oh no, you got me. Hey Girl Scout, so the next clip has a loser guy mocking things like self-harm. I've muted and censored those parts, but please skip the TikTok altogether if you don't feel comfortable watching. Stay safe, okay?
This is my service dog, and these are some of her tasks. When I'm feeling sad
ableism is so
or
trendy.
anxious, this is what she will do.
I guess this is supposed to be me.
That is not this. Psychiatric tasks are real.
When I'm about to, she'll interrupt me. Watch.
See the difference?
We are not the same.
Interruption is not his only task.
Michael, exit.
He finds the exit when I'm in danger and guides me to safety.
Thanks.
Mental illness isn't a funny joke when you live with it. I hope you never need assistance to have independence.
But go off and use our lifeline for clout.
I thought I'd end with this one because the guy mocking those with psychiatric service dogs claims to be a service dog handler himself with, get this, a psychiatric service dog for PTSD. Yeah, yikes.
So Benelli is a psychiatric service dog for hypervigilance PTSD, and her one main task is to provide me with a sense of security when I am in public. Now, per the ADA, in order to classify her as a service animal and not an emotional support animal, this has to be a trained task. This is one of Benelli's trained tasks. When given the guard mode command, Benelli will rise from a downstay and bark alert at any stranger who gets too close to me when my back is turned. Now, a lot of people have attacked me saying that this is human aggression and human reactivity. So if that is the case, why is Benelli not barking, alerting, showing reactive behavior or aggression towards these people who are 5 feet from me when my back is turned? This is because without the guard command being given, Benelli's default task is simply to provide me with a sense of security. Watch me shake this employee's hand. Benelli does not react. She simply turns around and watches my back, providing a sense of security.
Yep, surprised Pikachu. Although his trained task is a guard command for personal security, including defensive barking, which is not covered under the ADA, and there seems to be a lot of controversy around his validity. Regardless of speculations being true or not, he's decided that people finding solutions to help them minimize negative coping from severe mental health issues are loser snowflakes. Unlike him and his cool dog, because he has the badass kind of mental illness. Because legitimate suffering and hours of training on tasks and following all of the ADA's rules just isn't enough anymore. You gotta have the right kind of disability or illness that this random guy gets to deem fitting for a service dog. And you gotta experience it in a cool way. Like a war vet, not a stupid girl who experienced life-changing trauma and struggles to go out in public. Lame. This guy explains who's cool enough to have a psych dog to the Canine Tribunal, which are his TikTok followers, while shredding the paperwork on deep pressure therapy for relaxing the nervous system that the weight of a dog can simulate, and blocking those who refute with their explanations of past traumas and how having a massive dog to block unwanted touching, and who's always aware of an exit, lets them live a life where they can leave the house. But of course, like those DID fakers who aren't too over the top, he's able to convince enough people that he's actually right since his dog is housebroken and other bare minimum requirements. Newsflash, trained dogs aren't necessarily service dogs. And while we're going in on people trying to invalidate real handlers, let's also clear up that a lot of handlers record when they notice a fake service dog not to get clout and cause drama, but because they want to have proof of the other dog instigating in case it does cause harm. Service dogs are expensive and time consuming, so if someone's misbehaved pup attacks, they need to be prepared for a lawsuit. People just want to keep their medical aids safe and show people who don't understand why it's important to leave their dog at home. This is properly raising awareness, and it's certainly not glamorizing having a service dog. I'm wondering if the guy may have a skewed perception of actual trained psychiatric service dogs, because a lot of fakers tend to refer to their dogs as emotional support animals and use things like anxiety as their reasoning for their Amazon vest-wearing puppies to ride in their scooters at Walmart and yip at everyone they see. I just fail to see why else he would be so inappropriate when their choice to a service animal doesn't affect him in any way. They are never a first strategy for mental health, and the responsibility of a service dog is not going to be something all of those with mental illness will even feel capable of taking on. It's not a light decision, and those with properly trained dogs clearly felt the effort and time was worth whatever task the dog performs for them. All that being said, I think this man needs to task his dog in alerting him when he's being an ass, so that maybe he stops participating in the spread of misinformation that he clearly thinks is an issue in the community in the first place. Between people faking disorders and creating a negative stereotype of the mentally ill, and those using improperly trained pets to abuse service dog allowances, I just see this being an issue that will continue unless something changes. I asked this before, but I'd like to know your answers below. Do you think the ADA needs to have stricter rules, actual application processes, or government-approved harnesses for service dogs? Is this a matter of better training staff and the public on the laws and the consequences of breaking the laws? Or do you completely go against the opinions in this video and believe the onus is on the service dog handler for choosing this form of medical aid? Let me know below. And if you want this message shared to more people, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, watch till the end. All of this lets the algorithm know to show to more people, so you're helping me and helping share the info around. You can also support me and the channel directly by leaving a super thanks comment or checking out my merch shop. I have a limited drop coming very soon for Halloween, so be on the lookout for that. And definitely come check out my Discord. I'm gonna start hosting more community events together, so we'll be able to hang out. My socials are also linked if you'd like to see more of the gal behind the Danny Phantom PNG. And that's all from me. Hope you all have an amazing day, and I shall see you all in the next video. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Thanks for watching.